He isn't leading on balancing our budget, and he's not leading on jobs.
He has turned his back on American allies, and he has embraced our enemies.
This president is a declinist. He views America as one of equals around the world.
If I'd had my druthers, I never would have overturned Don't Ask, Don't Tell in the first place.
The Obama administration is an anti-jobs, anti-business, anti-American energy, destructive force.
I will not rest until I repeal Obamacare.
Nation primary state.
And there it is. That's just a sample of the first big debate between the Republican presidential contenders in the 2012 presidential race. There were no direct clashes among the candidates last night, all of them focusing primarily on the economy and, of course, President Obama.
All right, here's the latest USA Today Gallup poll. Currently, Mitt Romney has 24% of his party's support. There you see Sarah Palin, who has yet to officially join the race. She has 16% of the Republican support. Other notable candidates, Michelle Bachmann and Newt Gingrich, with about 5% of the GOP support apiece. Now, joining us right now is Carl Jeffers, a man who always comes in to talk about politics with us. He's a political analyst and a contributor to the Huffington Post.
Carl has done so many things. Let's ask about the big elephant in the room, which is Sarah Palin.
Okay.
Metaphorically speaking, of course. When do you think she is going to get in this race? What's her plan here? What do you think?
None of us know exactly her plan, but whatever her plan was this time yesterday, it may very well have changed last night. Sarah Palin heard two words last night that should convince her not to get into the race, and those two words were Michelle Bachmann. And the reason for that is Michelle Bachmann demonstrated last night that she has the gravitas to really be a Hillary Clinton. Now, a lot of conservatives would recoil from that, but I would say don't recoil from that, embrace it. Because Hillary Clinton got 30 million votes in the primaries, and she would have been president of the United States had she got the nomination. Any female candidate who could be compared favorably with the strengths of Hillary Clinton, without question, is in a very favorable position. Yeah. And Michelle Bachmann demonstrated last night gravitas. She made up for her, remember after the State of the Union, when she was looking at the wrong camera, all of those flaws were essentially eliminated in a very strong, energetic, passionate, and informed kind of discussion. She clearly held her own.
And she looks really good on paper. What is she, a mother of 5? She's had 23 foster kids?
And she was a criminal and a corporate tax attorney, which helps her to establish credentials to be able to say that these budget cuts have to be made and that we should not raise the debt ceiling.
You know, Americans like winners and losers. So in this debate last night, was there a clear winner and a clear loser?
I wouldn't say an absolute clear winner, but there were winners. Mitt Romney was a winner because he established himself clearly now as the front runner. Michelle Bachmann established herself as a major presence on the scene. Newt Gingrich actually rejuvenated his campaign because I've been saying all along, in fact, that we've talked about this before, Colleen, that despite his politics, Newt Gingrich is one of the most intellectually flowing speakers on the circuit, and he makes his points very intelligently and very logically, and with all of his campaign staff resigning a week ago, he reestablished himself. Now, big loser last night would have been Tim Pawlenty, simply because he established no momentum. And that's losing when he could have made some gains.
But we see the poll, the recent poll, Mitt Romney with 24%. Wouldn't you expect him to be more of a front runner at this point?
Not really, because there is still a lot of baggage that Mitt Romney is carrying among the Republican base. Number one, and it's funny, I was having this conversation earlier, and someone was asking me, I mean, how difficult is it going to be to elect a Mormon as president? And I said, well, from where I sit, we've got an African-American in there. I don't know why anybody else would have any problem, but
hey, good point, good point. One final thought here. Is this too early to start these debates? We're over a year out. Come on.
I think it's absolutely too early, and I think that each media attempt to have the debate followed by in the next morning the coverage is the gloves came off last night, the heat's really off. It's in fact skipping over the heads of most Americans.
Voters are going to get tired of it.
But here's what happens, though. It does create name recognition for those candidates who have a serious chance. Herm Cain does not have a serious chance. Ron Paul will continue to raise as much money as anyone because he's just so good at what he does, and this is his only form.
I have one other quick question.
Sure.
1-2 punch, Mitt Romney and Michelle Bachmann.
I'm not sure about that because of the fact that they both are on the far right. Remember, in the general election, both candidates usually have to move to the center. And the way the Democrats and Republicans usually do that is by picking a vice presidential candidate who moderates the views of the presidential candidate. Michelle Bachmann doesn't moderate anybody's views, frankly. Okay. And I think that we could probably look at Tim Pawlenty, and don't count out Rick Perry from Texas coming in later as well.
Carl, unfortunately, we got to cut you off. One thing I love about Carl is he's so energetic about anything, any topic. He goes right at.
The Lakers, too. We can get to that another time.
Yeah, I like that, too. All right, coming up, the excitement continues on The Voice and a preview of tonight's show coming up in a moment.